Hello, everybody. I also warmly welcome you to TechEd 2020 and would like to spend with you the next couple of minutes on our so-called suite qualities that we established to build a well-integrated intelligent enterprise offering. My name is Carsten Puschke and I work as a product manager for the department that deals with the definition and the adoption of these things. So what I and my colleagues are doing here is, of course, characterized by a high level of interaction and collaboration with our development departments for the various SAP software solutions. Simply because at the end of the day, these units are the ones who put our plan into practice. Having that said, my presentation would be as follows. Let us start with a brief outline how our integration strategy for the integrated intelligent enterprise looks like, before we then dive into the individual suite qualities. And at the end, you shouldn't miss out what things can be expected. All right, let's get started. In the recent past, your demands on our software portfolio has significantly changed. Your requests are now primarily into the direction to improve the harmonization and integration of our product portfolio. And these types of demands have been raised across many aspects, from the UI down to security and master data handling. That's why we are working so intensively on building and improving our integrated intelligent enterprise strategy. I guess you are already familiar with this graphic. If not, it should be said that we have put together the individual layers and aspects of the intelligent enterprise into one picture that shows how end-to-end business processes are based on the intelligent suite. And the intelligent suite itself is more and more becoming now a holistic vehicle because it benefits so massively from the adoption of the suite qualities. Okay. And all of this is also available here in detail with the SAP Cloud Integration Strategy paper that we published this year. So let us take a closer look at the suite qualities. As you can see, we are starting with these 7 suite qualities. But here, I would like to underline that we are not at the end of our integration story when the 7 got adopted by our lines of businesses. In fact, sooner than later, we will bring more suite qualities onto the stage. So the first suite quality, which I would like to discuss with you, is called end-to-end process blueprints. I think it is quite obvious why it is necessary, because what was missing are easily understandable views and diagrams of the end-to-end business processes that also show which SAP solutions are used where and how they at the end fit together. On the one hand, there are so-called value flow diagrams, which are depicting the subtasks in an end-to-end business process. And on the other hand, we have so-called software collaboration diagrams, which provide insights how software products and components collaborate with each other. So let me just show you how it looks like. All these things got incorporated into the SAP API Business Hub. So there is not yet another tool that you need to make yourself familiar with. Just a new content type has been established called business processes. And if we click on that, we can see the list of processes that my colleagues already released. Needless to say that there will be more arriving. For now, let's take a look into lead to cash. At first, a value flow diagram is shown. Here you can see business process subtasks in more detail, like contact to lead or order to cash, which got also further nailed down, as you can see, for the order to cash sub-business process. And then for the invoice to cash business process sequence, there is this process accounts receivable step that we are clicking on. And here we are now jumping into a software collaboration diagram, as you can read at the top. This is showing us further details like the participating SAP solutions, which you can see on the left, like Commerce Cloud, S4, SAP Cloud Platform Integration Service, and so on. And the actions that they must sequentially run for that particular business process step. Good, but what I would like to point you to is one of those dotted line arrows. If we are clicking on that, then we are finally ending up at the very technical level by getting the API details. In this case, there are API variants listed on the left side, which you can try out, as our engineering folks also put a sandbox system aside. And if we are then clicking on the details tab here at the top, we get even more details, like a link to our documentation. So here is the summary. I mean, it is not only that the diagrams have been made available to the SAP API Business Hub as standalone content, but the fact that these value flow diagrams and the software collaboration diagrams are linked to each other. They are then further pointing to the respective APIs with their specifications and to the documentation. So that's really a plus to my opinion, since we are now offering a visualization semantically bridging the business with the IT. With that, to our next suite quality called seamless user experience. I mean, it was and still is a hot topic simply because of the fact that SAP acquired a significant number of companies where all had their own UI or even UI strategy. And even our own solution are or were not well aligned. So crystal clear why this got TechEd as a suite quality. And there are also other points that we got your feedback on, like a central entry point for our business users and to also have one place to manage all your tasks. The central entry point will be covered explicitly at the end of my presentation in the front runner section. And this one place to manage tasks even became its own suite quality called One Workflow Inbox that I'm gonna introduce in a few moments. But let us get back for a moment to this overall UX suite quality. SAP really invested a lot in harmonizing the shell bar design, aligned colors and fonts, icons, terminology, and so on. So these UI basics, so to speak, got, of course, also full commitment by our lines of business. And with that, to our third suite quality, the aligned domain models. What mainly all of you are facing today as an integration challenge is the fact that you are in the need to individually synchronize business or data objects between the various SAP applications that have common attributes and therefore belong to common semantics. What we are here striving for is an improvement in the way that SAP applications synchronize the business objects by relying on one domain model. And you can already see what that looks like by again visiting our SAP API Business Hub. Look, there is the SAP One Domain Model graphically documented, and you can see which business objects are available for the various domains and the attributes that are attached to them. And in addition to the previous slide, this figure here should show you how far the simplifications have progressed and will be further developed, so that master data can be easily kept up to date consistently across the various applications. That also needs to become reality for hybrid landscapes, which we know is the majority of your setups. Okay, then let's take a look into a short demo how a master data object is created in one application and then recognized by a second application at the same time by using these things that I just introduced.
Let me show you what you can expect as out-of-the-box integration content by using our SAP One Domain Model together with the SAP Cloud Platform Master Data Integration Service to consistently share and replicate business objects. In particular, how a newly created cost center in SAP S/4HANA is being made available in SAP SuccessFactors. Okay, we're gonna start in SAP S/4HANA Cloud and create there a new cost center called H2R_CCT12. After that, we're gonna look into the SAP Cloud Platform Master Data Integration Service and we see that the cost center got replicated into it. Since everything arrived correctly, we can now switch to SAP SuccessFactors and check whether this cost center was then also made available for it. And voila, here it is. And this way, the complex and time-consuming integration effort is massively reduced as you benefit from our SAP One Domain model, the so-called lingua franca for SAP applications that share business objects with each other.
All right. And with this to the next one that I already teasered, which is called the One Workflow Inbox. Think about this. You are using S4, you are using Concur, Ariba, and so on. The look and feel is the same, functionality and features are all there, and all themselves help you to run your business. But while each of the solutions brings great value in its own environment, it is hard to easily execute workflow approval actions across the applications that are used by you on a daily basis. So you just had two options in the past to get things done. Either you access each solution individually, or the other way is or was your email application, which gets notifications from the various systems. But this is also problematic, as your critical tasks may get lost in the mess of all email items. And when our One Workflow Inbox is there, you should really overcome this problem. And guess what? I have a little video for you about it.
Okay, here comes our One Workflow Inbox scenario. To get an idea how tasks and approvals can be easily handled on a mobile device, as well as by using a desktop client. As you know, pretty much every decision maker needs an easy way to manage tasks and approvals. And here we have Tim, whom we are following for a few minutes. He is in the need to get a consolidated view of his approval tasks, which have their origin in several SAP applications. And while he is actually in a taxi, he uses the time to check some of his open approvals from his cell phone. He pulls out his mobile device and opens the SAP Smart Approvals app. Once the application opens, Tim can see the consolidated tasks for the various business units across the top. What stands out right away is the high priority item that was clearly flagged due to the high dollar value. Tim can see the high-level information of the requisition and can navigate to the details. He sees that the description for this item is PC TV tuners and the dollar amount is clearly incorrect. So he is going to reject and sends back this approval request with a note for Edward to check the dollar amount. With that action complete, Tim can move on to the next set of approval types that he has on his list. But let's stop here with the mobile example, as I believe you got the story how easy it is to execute a particular approval task on a mobile device. What Tim clearly benefits from is the fact that this mobile app provides him his tasks from the various systems, where the business semantics is ensured by the assignment of his tasks to various types. Tim is now back in the office and opens his laptop to continue his work. There are still a few tasks to be completed. He navigates to the SAP My Tasks app from the Fiori dashboard. Things got of course synchronized, and here are now the remaining tasks plus the new ones that came in the meantime. The first item he sees is a purchase order approval request. Clicking the task, he is seamlessly deep linked into S/4HANA with the contextual data needed to complete the approval. He sees the basic and payment data as well as the item detail. All look good and he can approve. He then closes, refreshes, and sees that the task is no longer there. Okay, let's leave Tim here dealing with his remaining tasks. The same that I said already before for the mobile UI is of course also true for our desktop SAP task app. You get an intuitive UI guiding you through the tasks and approvals coming from the various applications that you are usually working with. At the same time, still being able to get into the details by a deep linking into the respective applications. So this one workflow inbox approval strategy is really a key foundation of SAP's integration strategy, delivering upon end-to-end intelligent enterprise scenarios, managing your entire business.
Good, and with that, let's jump to the next suite quality called consistent security and identity management. That is about uniformity in these areas like authentication, identity provisioning, role provisioning, and so on. And to exactly get rid of these situations, as you can see with the picture on the left-hand side, we are working on massive improvements for our users to log on only once, and then to execute all steps in their various applications. And here, our SAP Cloud Platform Identity Authentication Service will be in charge to provide any kinds of pre-configured authentication methods. I mean, single sign-on is just one aspect of the suite quality. There is so much more that we are looking into, like audit logging, central key management, business user role management, and so forth. So the message here is that almost any kind of security and identity management is considered as very important for the integrated intelligence suite. And with that, as it was a quick one, we are going to the other, which brings us right into the next suite quality topic called coordinated lifecycle management, and a specific subtopic of it, which is the cloud integration and automation service. What is meant by this is the need to overcome these situations where integration scenarios are mostly customer managed and therefore require a huge capacities on your end. What is needed is a framework to automate the setup of integration scenarios as far as possible. And with our Cloud Integration Automation Service, or CIAS, we strongly believe to offer a tool for describing and executing integration scenarios, where so-called CIAS procedures will then contain tasks that are either automated or guided manual tasks based on your workflows. And to make the story sound, there is the SAP Cloud Platform ALM for Implementation Service, or as you may know it under the name Calm Build on top, which then orchestrates the execution of these CIAS procedures. Okay, we're gonna meet the ALM suite quality topic again in the front runner section of our presentation. But let me first finish with our last suite quality, embedded and cross-product analytics, with a look into the aspect of embedded analytics. To operate as an intelligent enterprise, business users need different insights. In almost all cases, the users need real-time operational reports for business process visibility. Okay, what does that mean for embedded analytics? The core message is that embedded analytics is delivered for, number one, multiple business roles that support a business process, and number two is characterized by immediate and actionable insights that is easily accessible from within the application. First steps toward this have been made, as you can see on the slide, for SAP SuccessFactors People Analytics, providing additional information right in the app coming from the SAP Analytics Cloud. Okay, and that's it with the suite quality section. And if you may gonna ask, hey, where's the cross-product analytics part? Just wait a second, this will be also covered under the frontrunner agenda point. All right, we are almost through, and here I just put a summary slide in where you can find additional content for one or the other topic that we just talked about. And with this, now to the frontrunner section of my presentation. For instance, if we look again into the coordinated lifecycle management suite quality, there's also this aspect of integration monitoring. This problem space is also pretty clear because system admins are struggling with messages coming from different solutions that have a context, but that isn't brought to their attention. And the way we tackled this is a centralized integration monitoring approach, facilitated by SAP Cloud ALM for Operations, or called CRUN. The situation simply changes now from, hey, something went wrong, let's check why this happened, into something went wrong because the following integration issue arose. And that should then work for end-to-end message flows that consist of many single and component-specific integration artifacts. Okay, and where we also made quite a lot of progress is the cross-product analytics topic that I promised to talk about earlier. I mean, it is just obvious that you must also derive operational and strategic insights in scenarios which cover your end-to-end business scenarios, meaning that various SAP applications are involved. SAP will deliver here a single unified experience, and we are after to bring data together that have their sources across lines of businesses and applications. For example, in spend management scenarios where people get paid by using SuccessFactors in combination with S4, or contingent workers get staffed by using Fieldglass, and other money gets spent on travels managed in Concur. That's where cross-product analytics comes into play, bringing various systems or data sources on one screen. Okay, and once more back into the consistent user experience suite quality topic, which goes, of course, beyond the look and feel. Also tackling your needs in terms of, as we call it, a central entry point and product switch. Both enable the user to access products from a single point and further navigate easily between them. So what these two things are all about. In general, the central entry point utilizes the SAP Fiori Launchpad concept and offers a single point of entry to access applications within the intelligent enterprise. The Launchpad is already available for S/4HANA and will be extended to support all products within the Intelligent Enterprise Suite. Via the central entry point, you can quickly get an overview of what needs your attention by getting personalized overview pages, list reports, and work lists. Okay, and what does the product switch? It displays products of the customer's landscape and allows to navigate to the entry points of the product. This is a simple, lightweight, and context-free navigation. It provides easy access to the specific entry points of products in the customer landscape. But let me stop talking here, and instead I would like to hand over to my colleague Christian Hengstler, who prepared a short demo for you.
Hello. Are you looking for an easy way to access and quickly navigate between your SAP products? Then have a look at the product switch. To demonstrate the product switch, a reference implementation is developed, which simulates various products using different UI frameworks, such as SAP UI5, UI5 Web Components, Fundamental Library, and many more. The product switch will be made available in all cloud products via the shell bar. It shows products of the customer landscape and allows navigation to each of the product entry points via a simple, lightweight, and context-free navigation. To support the user through their journey of the business processes, the currently active product is highlighted. Our product will offer a harmonized and consistent user experience by providing the same representation due to reusable UI controls and a central configuration. The configuration of the product switch is managed via an administrative user interface for all the products and for all users. The upper part shows the current configuration. All products available in the customer landscape will be shown in the lower part, ready for selection. You can pick and choose products either by clicking the plus button, which adds the entry to the end of the configuration, or via drag and drop. Products can be removed in the same way. The order can be changed via drag and drop, while the final appearance can be previewed. Each product is provided with the default representation via an icon, title, and a subtitle. The title and subtitle will be provided in 8 languages, following the SAP translation strategy. You can accept these defaults, or you can customize and override them with own values, or even maintain additional languages. The first entry in the product switch is the home entry. That navigates the user to a central entry point, such as SAP for Me, SAP Cloud Platform Launchpad, or to any other website, for instance, to a customer's corporate portal. To activate the changes, you need to save and publish them. The reference application shows the published result. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.
Now we are really almost through, but not without a short stop at our Roadmap Explorer. I guess this is known to you, but nonetheless, I would like to really encourage you to bookmark this thing. There you can even browse by selecting one or the other suite quality to find out which products they got adopted. And here, if not chosen already, you may also consider these TechEd sessions that I put in here, plus again, some helpful links for your readings. And finally, I would like to point you to our SAP Learning Hub to continue your learning experience with our SAP portfolio. All right, we made it. And thank you for checking out the suite qualities. I hope you enjoyed it. And I am, of course, still there for your questions that you might have. So see you in the Q&A session. And what should I say? I wish you good luck and have fun at TechEd.